Okay, so yeah, this is 166 Goddard Print Shop Taco.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm starting a project, and the one thing we do have to do is those project opening sheets. That's on my administration stuff to get to this week, so I'm gonna roll those out this week. So
Okay.
that'll be in the correspondence, and that would be the first place I would normally look.
Sure.
What I'm doing on this job.
Okay.
So we'll have those so they have field and office instructions. Did you grab those checklists?
Yeah, they're in there.
Okay, sweet. Because I want to use those.
They're all in there. They're for every plan. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I always before I started CAD, I open the notes.
Yeah.
Just to look at what was done.
Yep.
The one thing Robert and I agreed we're going to put on here. Mm-hmm. So if we've checked a cosine benchmark, we're going to add a note at the bottom. Checked a cosine BMU 365 for 0.017 meters. No need to adjust this data.
Perfect.
We'll put that note at the bottom on all of them.
Perfect.
Yeah, so instead of like cramming the plans in here, I always just put like the part numbers, and then I'll put a note somewhere. Easements, parts 1, 2, and 3 are from this plan. But, you know. So there's the notes. They're ready to go. I like to look at the photos before I start. That's just a personal preference. So again, these will start at the front of the building, and then I walked clockwise on this one. So it'll be all the way around. What they're doing is they're tearing this down. You can see how bad shape it's in. They're putting a bigger addition on it.
Gotcha.
On this property, the back corner is, so this fence here is the entrance for this manufacturing place.
Yep.
Our back corner is like 2 meters behind the fence.
Seriously?
Yeah. So there is some encroachment and stuff, but we're not worried about that. Mm-hmm. But you'll see.
Obviously, we'll show that.
Yeah, we'll show it. You'll see it when you get it.
Sure. Yep, that looks pretty rough shape.
Yeah, it's in bad shape. That whole back's coming off, like from there all the way to the back.
Yep. What was that building used for?
It's,
you know?
It's a print shop.
It's print.
It's still inactive. It's active.
It is,
using it. So it's busy too. There's lots of people coming going over there. Yeah. So to me, I've been to the site, so it's really easy to follow.
Sure,
but,
it is.
But that's how I always take, and then I end at the same place I started. That's how I always take my photos.
Okay.
That gives you a sense of the site there. That little piece on the corner belongs to the town. And the next thing I'll do, so because we're using 2 devices, this is what Robert and I started. So we download the data out of the R12i S7, and then he combines them all.
Oh, good.
So all points.
That means when I see all points, it's the 2 files.
That's everything. That's what we were talking about. The easiest way to do that.
There's less confusion in here too. Oh, that's good.
So if you need anything, and there's our numbering the way you wanted it.
Yeah, perfect.
We all agreed to. So
that's great.
1000s are all the topo stuff.
You're already ahead of the game on the field notes, so.
The hundreds are my dummies, so don't draw those. That's me being a dummy looking for stuff.
I just, yeah.
You can just straight up ignore those.
No, and I leave them in there. I was talking with Nick, and I just shut them off. And
yeah, we can create an actual dummy point group. That
that'd be great.
Doesn't print and it's like bright pink or
that'd
something.
Be great.
So you know what they are.
Yeah.
And then there's our control stuff down in the single digits.
Perfect. It's awesome.
Anything where we're shooting a second point?
Yes.
This is just stuff Robert and I have worked through now after working together for a week. We're going to put .chk as a check.
Perfect.
So, like for example, this 62, that SIB was in like heavy bush.
Okay.
It was in thick bush. And I went in and the GPS said it got shot right away.
Oh.
And I was like, I don't know if that's true or not. Like, if it did.
Well, yeah, you're in thick bush.
So what we do is we flip it upside down. And
to lose lock.
It completely loses lock. It loses all connection to all satellites, everything. Turn it right side up again and wait till it connects. And then do a check shot. If it shoots it a second time and you inverse the 2, if you're within mils, you know it's taking good shots.
Perfect.
So anytime you see like, well, why did they do that check shot? It's because we were for some reason we thought we should check it.
It's awesome. Love it.
And then these were just he was shooting with the robot and I was shooting with the GPS. So he shot top spindles of all the fire hydrants.
Okay.
So I was going around checking them all with the GPS. So that's what those check shots are.
Sweet.
you'll see them come in. But
So that gives me a good verification too. Like
yeah,
when
and
I'm
the
looking at
GPS
it.
data to the S7 data was very, very close, like within 2 cents or less on this
Okay.
one. So we're checking all that stuff, and you'll see he's checking stuff.
Perfect.
There's lots of checks on here, and a lot of it does make it to the notes, but
It's seconds to do, right?
yeah.
Like,
Also, these negatives, do you know what they mean?
does that cancel the elevation? Same as Trimble? Like there's no elevation.
I don't know. Robert uses the cancel.
Yeah, so
he said
what
he puts
that
negative on.
See what happens is if it's an elevation that's not to be used with a negative, that means the elevation's it's
No
ignored.
good.
It's no good.
Okay.
That's what. So
that's
when
what
they
you're
shot a
using?
bar, it had a negative at the coating over there.
That would mean don't use the elevation.
Well, yeah, because or say underneath a tree stump, like you know how it raises up on the
Yeah.
base, we would never use the tree, so it always ended with a negative. Now I don't know if that's something. That's something
he wants to carry forward.
Okay.
So, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it just means I don't use that elevation.
Yeah, so I haven't
Now
been
does
doing
your
that.
so does CAD pick that up? See normally
CAD won't pick that up.
Yeah, see they had that set up that it didn't anything with a negative in the coating, it wouldn't pick that
Okay,
elevation up.
that's a project for me. I can make it do
Can
that.
we do
I'm
that?
Sure I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever it's for doing the surface, anything with a negative, it wouldn't go to that point.
Okay.
So it would include bars, it would include bases around trees, it would, and they didn't actually use the building corners at a negative as well.
That's what he said.
Yes.
Because I would never use building corners for.
Well,
Just as a general, I would never.
See
use
what they
building
did
corners.
was they used the elevation always stays on, right? So it would always put in the data. So that's why anything with a negative, it wouldn't use that in the surface. It would cancel out.
Okay.
So
just a bit of that.
So there,
FSP
right
there.
now, yeah, that was part of the FSP program that it would work. And so obviously he's asking if that can be done on ours.
Yeah, because we're manually creating the surfaces, so like
That's
we
right.
would just make sure that all those points are not included in it.
So that way, okay. So what's a way to
Like
do
building
that?
corners wouldn't be included. You would just not put those in your surface because when you
And there's a way to do that in point group, like
when you create your surface, right?
Yeah.
You're adding the point groups that you want.
And when
So
you
just
show when we
wouldn't
go
add
through.
building. Point
Okay,
groups.
so that's the difference. The FSP
Yeah.
that it was just as it is, it's a custom thing, right?
Yep.
So anything with a negative, it wouldn't accept that point as an elevation as part of the surface.
Yeah, so that's
why he
that's
wanted
the big
to do
difference I
that.
was trying to explain to him.
Sure.
Like CAD, everything comes in.
Right.
You're gonna get every single point.
Exactly.
Which-
Which that's the way it was there. He understood like everything did
He
come
was
in.
saying some stuff like if it didn't have a code, it just wouldn't come in. Like if you used a code that didn't exist, he said.
Yes, it wouldn't come in.
That's what he said.
That's
so,
right.
So I said
That's right.
you don't have to worry about that here because if you code something differently than our code list, it's
Yep.
still going to come in.
Perfect.
It's just going to go on to
It
that
just looks
default
different. Yeah.
point number, elevation description.
I've seen
point
that,
depth.
obviously, and
If there's,
created
if there's a
different-
code that doesn't exist, so it doesn't belong to the point group, it's just going to look like that.
Sure.
I said if you code something like miscellaneous pipe because we don't have no idea what it is, but you want to shoot it, Blair will see that.
Absolutely. It'll
And
stick
we'll
out
just
like a
ask the
sore
question.
thumb.
It'll just be sitting there. It's like
Yeah.
no points without.
See,
it
theirs
not
it was so
included.
customized, right? That it wouldn't come in.
Right, that's what he's
Right.
saying. So I was
Yeah.
like, because he was stressed about missing a code wrong, and that's why he wants CAD to check and
Yeah.
everything. I was like, everything will come in, no matter
Exactly.
what you code it.
Perfect. Yeah, it just comes up as a generic look,
Right.
as I've noticed. Perfect.
Okay, so now we're on to the drafting. First thing to do, obviously set up your survey database. So new local survey data. First, set the working folder to your job. So 22, we're working on 166. Survey, drawings, the working folder. That's where the database is always stored. And the new local survey database, DD220166/database. It's always just a job number. Database.
Yep.
Okay, and then once you set it up, once the default settings should come in every time. Like by force of habit.
Which I've
check.
said. The only thing that
It's only the units that need to
Yeah.
be set up. The rest is all just default
Yes.
data box
Okay.
stuff from CAD. So yeah, we'll always shoot in 983 UTM zone 17N unless otherwise noted. Like
yeah, that's where
if we're on like a no projection, no data, just a local coordinates, you just change that. That's an option in here.
sure.
To no projection, no data. But 95% of our jobs are going to come in this way.
Yep.
So that's ready to go. We've had a look at the data. That all points group is ready. So import the point file. all points. So that's what. Yeah, that's what.
That's sweet.
If we have it out of 2 devices, we're just gonna you'll always see an all points group. That's what we agreed to do. When he's working by himself, it'll probably only come out of one hand. And then this is default again. That's set up the first
I remember
time.
that's what I've done.
It's
Yeah,
set
it's
up,
all done.
so there should be nothing to change anymore once it's all up and running.
Okay. It's the error that pops up.
So there was an error with 2 of the curve codes.
Okay.
So I was trying to curve. So if you want to see where those points are, you can just hit zoom 2.
Okay.
But some of those, something a little bit wonky there. Trying to fit the curve on, so we'll look at that. That's fine.
Yep.
But there's our data. I don't know what these
I
are.
don't know what those lines are.
Oh, so that's Cad's trying to fit a curve on based on how he shot it. So it's got these radiuses way out here or something.
Huge
So
radius. Yeah.
we'll have to correct those.
Yeah, sure.
That's his curves though. So something went wonky. And then yeah, he's got a couple points here where
Yeah, I can see the zigs.
he's got
Yeah.
ASP on the wrong side. We did agree we're gonna get him a license so that he can dump this stuff at the end of the day.
Oh, that's great.
So I think a lot of the time, so I'm gonna teach him.
Because he wants to correct it, right?
I'm gonna teach him how to set up a database and bring points in.
Yep.
I'm gonna get him that far.
Yep.
So a lot of the times, I think you'll see
It'll be all corrected.
I say you do 166.
Yep.
And you'll see an IP drawing already in there.
Okay.
Like I told him, just correct your data.
Yep.
Correct everything that was a mistake, and then save it as IP.
That'll save a lot of time, you know.
That'll save you
100.
half an hour, an hour.
Save him even calling you guys, like going, oh, what's this? Like, okay, what's if I can't see it, right?
Yep.
Oh, that saves a ton of time.
Yep.
So see how he's trying to set up what he's done, like what he's used to, just.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
So he's gonna come in at the end of the day, dump the data in,
Yep.
and then fix these things.
Perfect.
So that's working.
That's half the battle.
Going to happen. That's what we talked about.
Cool.
So okay, there's our raw. Every point is inserted. Acad has done his best to draw the line works. Looks like he did a good job on the buildings.
Yeah, he did. One straight line coming across, but
I don't know what that one is.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, this is on me. He shot the rainwater leaders.
Yes.
It's drawing a line between them. I don't know if I've seen that.
Gotcha.
Those are 2 rainwater leaders. Okay. So anyways, the next thing is going to Prospector. Point groups, expand that, and update it. And that's going to populate with every single point group that is identified. So now the next step I'll do is I'll start arranging those in the way I want to see them. So my goal is to get the all points one as low in the hierarchy as possible.
Okay.
So I know that rainwater leaders in the top one, I want to see my rainwater leaders. Anchor wires, I want to see them. PGs, I'm going to want to see for now. I'll turn those off when we're done drawing the buildings in. Benchmarks.
So let me just stop you for a sec. So you're just bringing those up too with the black dots there too, but putting them in the order you want to see.
Yep.
Okay.
So anything with a black dot means that it's
gotta
identified
label
that those
it.
points are in this drawing.
Yep. Okay.
So now I'm going through and saying which ones do I want to see.
Okay.
So bell pedestals, catch basins, and this is the topo, so pretty much everything we're going to want to see.
Yep.
Cut crosses, probably don't need to see cut crosses. I'll throw those up for right now. I think that would be benchmarks. Coniferous trees,
Nah, I get it.
existing elevations we want to see. Finished floor heights we want to see. Why? Okay, so that's that far. I can't. I just gotta pull this down so I can see the rest of them. Okay, so where am I? C pedestals. Now I want to see cable pedestals. Deciduous trees. Gas meters. Hydrometers. Manholes. Cells. Sign. Top spindle. And water valve. Okay, and then no display, I want to bring up all the way up to just below all points for right now, so I can identify. So what that's going to do is, so now anything that's still displaying in the default point group
Yep.
means that we don't have a style for it.
Okay.
So there's points in this drawing that either one are line work, so we don't want to see them anyways because they're line work, or two, there's a point that was shot that doesn't
Just doesn't.
we don't have a code for.
Yep.
So if it's something, that's where just over the next 2 weeks probably.
I'll write it down.
If there's one that comes in constantly,
Sure.
we'll put it in the template.
Perfect.
Like I know right now I don't have a style for post, which we should post all the time, or fence post. So I need to do that one. Then there'll be others too.
Sure.
So we'll get there. But yeah, so FO, I'm not sure what that was.
FO.
I'm not sure what that would have been.
I don't know what that would have been.
FO. So yeah, there'll be some of these where we just circle and ask Robert at the end of the day what FO is. Or look at the pictures and see it's right at the end.
If I can get it.
It's right at the end of the building here.
Yeah. I'll take a look at it. What's what.
But yeah, okay, so now I have to deal with that one in a minute.
Yeah, that's okay.
So we've got the top of
It's
in
basically
now.
in
The points are in.
Yep.
What I would do next, the step I would normally do now is get the boundary onto it.
Yep.
So I would just flip notice play right up to the top, and then put my survey monuments. This is the only thing I want to see. So right now they all display as cut crosses. That's just the style.
I noticed that actually on Thursday. I noticed that on Thursday.
It's a block.
Yeah, Nick and I went through this to see this.
It's a block, but
Yep.
he blocked the attribute inside of it. You know
Yes.
how you put the scale inside the title block? So that usually you can flick between them, but he blocked an attribute inside the block.
Gotcha.
So it just always is set on cut cross right
Okay.
now.
And now
We're not displaying the bar, so I haven't been worrying about it right now.
right.
But
So,
we'll
if you
fix
were
that.
to, so if you wanted to go call
I'll
that
fix
an
that
IB, you'll
block.
just fix that.
I'll
Okay.
fix that block.
Okay.
But yeah, I turn those on for right now.
Yep.
And I think so. This is how Robert and I are going to differentiate, and maybe it makes more sense to call it bm.cc. I think that probably makes more sense because then it won't pick them up.
For benchmark, like
So when we set a cut cross,
Yes.
it's not marking a boundary. In
Yep,
any way.
it's just a straight benchmark, yep.
We're going to code them. He's got it backwards, but we're going to code them bm.cc.
perfect.
So they'll
Because
come in on the
so the
bench
leaders, the benchmark comes in
They'll
that
come in
point
on the
group.
bench group point
Okay,
group, not
benchmark
with
group.
the survey monuments.
Perfect.
So yeah, he's got that one backwards there.
Sure.
Points one. I think this is another one.
See, that's the
here.
way MT
He
used
did
to
call
put.
them cc.bm.
That's what we used to use over there.
Oh,
if it was a cut
CC
cross.
dot
Yeah.
BM?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had the description at the end
Yeah.
because
so
we
these-
didn't use point groups, right?
Yeah. So these 3 points 1, 2, and 3. So the only thing I would do then,
just change it.
yeah, just
Change the
go to
code.
survey monuments. Right now, exclude 1 to 3. Now they're not in there. So now-
They're still there, obviously.
They're still in the
just
drawing,
not
but now they're not in the
group.
survey monument group.
Okay.
And then I would go into my benchmark group and say in this drawing, include with numbers matching 1 to 3. Apply. There. Now you've moved those. Those are now moved to the benchmark point group and out of the survey monument.
Yeah.
So it's that quick.
Okay.
So here's our monuments. Now I would go and take my plans. Which I gotta talk to Montana. Same thing. That plan that she had, I don't know where it's stored. I had a hard copy of it from her estimate.
What's the job number we're working on?
166. So yeah, I've bought the block maps, and then there's an actual reference plan on our piece for these easements.
So yeah.
So I got that plan. So I pull it up. So there's that plan, and then I just gotta figure out where she's put.
Once we do, just move it back. Move it into ours.
Yeah, I'll just copy it into ours.
Yeah.
Where did I get that from?
Is it another file?
Sorry.
It's all good.
I should have copied it right in when I had it. Cottage print shop. Where's that? Garbage print shop. This one.
There you go.
So yeah, she's got it saved as an estimate right now. I gotta see if we can get a full copy of it, because I don't know, I think this is an AGM plan, that looks right.
Yeah, it does look like it.
But I gotta see where she got that from, because they must have a full version of it.
At least copy that.
Yeah, we'll copy that for now. That's what I use to retrace the boundary, so.
Sure.
I hate these little logos now.
I'm not used to it
Switched
yet either.
from 10 to 11.
I know.
You can't see cut.
I know.
You just see the logos.
That's the first thing. It's like, oh shit, they're an icon now.
I know. It's such a pain. It's the little things when you upgrade. It's not really an upgrade.
I guess everybody, the majority, thought icons they could see better instead of having the word.
I don't know. I don't like getting
I don't.
used to it.
Yeah, I know. There's a few different things that are different in that 11.
Yeah. Oh, just things that just annoy you.
Yeah.
But okay, so I opened the plans that I'm gonna need and then the notes at this point.
Sure.
And just see what did we do. So when I'm doing my notes for these ones, I sit there and work like I was working with Robert on inversing them to make sure which bars are good, which bars are not good. But if you hold the two IBs here on either end of the line, this IB, and I'll write hold on it, and then hold. So once we get the survey drawn, the boundary drawn, we'll rotate our data onto that survey.
So can you
based
put a
on
note
those
on there?
two bars.
But if you do your calcs, right? Obviously, it's a difference of opinion. So if you want to hold that, okay, that's what I don't know if you want to hold that as a reference bearing or not. How do I?
So okay, that's I guess what I should. So
Right, like
yeah, I would like to hold that as a reference bearing. That's
Yeah,
what
so
I'm saying.
just put between one if a little note there, put between 1 and 2, and then that's the reference bearing. I don't know.
Yeah, so I would normally rotate these
Yep.
onto that reference bearing before we're done.
Yes.
But because Robert and I had different data and different handhelds, I didn't want to rotate just my data on this one.
Sure. Oh, so I'm just gonna
But-
rotate the whole thing.
So yeah, I just rotated all after the fact. Normally, like I would have just rotated in the field and
Sure.
put reference bearing.
Right, then
from
it
that
comes
plan.
in again. It's done.
But yeah, he was still doing topo at the
See,
time.
again, I'm not used to that, right? I was have to do that anyway.
Yeah, so if I
So-
if I don't have a reference bearing on here, it's
Okay.
just the raw data.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, so here's the note. So hold. So here's my checks. This SIB was shown as 0.115 off the line
Yep.
on the reference plan.
Mm-hmm.
We measured as 0.130 off, so 15 mils. So pretty good. Then the second bar here checks for 2 centimeters off. This bar 1 centimeter off the other direction. So we're kind of splitting difference here at this point. So for a centimeter or two, these all line up.
Yeah, for sure.
And then my other bars, I just did a couple other checks here, like this line here, these checked for 5 millimeters, this checked for 15 millimeters. So my bars appear to be in the right spot.
Sure. That's all I did on the other ones, on the other boundary too. Like,
So yeah, and we're not-
I usually make another. I always just made, if I'm doing a manual, I always have another little check print with my red line, right?
Yeah.
Like I make a photocopy of the field note. And,
So we're not doing boundary. This is how we get the confidence that
Exactly.
what we're illustrating on there is good.
it's good. It
And then
works.
the other thing I've got on here is this building tie.
Oh, you had a building tie in there too?
Right
Oh, perfect.
there.
Yep.
It checked for like
much?
very 5 millimeters.
Oh.
And so this was one of those things where I was showing Robert. I shot that building corner with a GPS pole
Oh, using the
on a like
Sl-
45-degree angle.
the slope,
because
the-
Robert
or the
still
angle.
doesn't trust it. So we've been doing lots of testing out in the field. So I said, here, I'll shoot it. You shoot it with the robot as well.
Yep.
And my shot was closer to the plan than his.
even better. So yeah, I find that amazing.
It's
Anyway.
it's really good. You just
Yeah.
gotta like, if you're up against a building and you start to get like weird residuals, that's where I would like, and it shoot it.
Sure.
But then that's where I would disconnect, take a check shot, make sure you're still
Why not?
good.
It only takes that.
But yeah, you'll know right away. Like if we measured 5 mils from the plan, that's a great job.
See,
You can't do any better.
No kidding. Exactly.
So, and then this corner that was the second corner shown on this plan is now, it's gone. I shot 65, but it's not.
It's not there.
3.4
It's not.
feet. It's there's some concrete that's
Oh, they
sticking
put
out the
another-
side, so they've tore something down over
Sure.
there.
Okay.
So, but I mean, we're 1 and 2 centimeters up and down the street with the bars, and then 5 mils on the building tie.
Yeah.
Our street line's good.
Yeah.
So now I would take this plan here. This is what we're going to use. Have it usually on one screen, and just draft the boundary.
Yep.
Bearing and distance. So on these topos, I think if we go to layer properties, we've set this up so you can just turn the survey layers on, so you don't have to see all the layers.
Okay.
If you go into layer properties and just turn survey on, then when you go to the drop down, you'll only see the survey layers.
That's something I've never used.
So then you don't have to scroll through all the civil layers and the architectural layers.
See, that's where I set up your all states.
Yeah.
That's where.
So we do want to set up a layer state manager still. I think that's a good idea for our line work. But that's what point groups is, right? Point groups is layer state manager for points. That's our blocks.
I get that now for sure.
Yeah, now we just need to do it for our line work. It'd be nice to turn all this off.
That's what I mean. Like that's what layer states
managers. Just see nothing right now but the block. So if we create a layer state manager, we could turn all that off.
Absolutely, 100%.
But yeah, that's what we're just doing. So.
Perfect. Yeah, I didn't realize you could. I've never used it that way.
So yeah, this is Robert, and then that was mine. It's just his code is BOS instead of BO. Like I use BOB, bottom of bank.
See, I was just bottom of slope.
BOS, bottom of slope. So there'll be things like this. So, but it's really quick. You just literally.
I mean, it's first week, so I'm not gonna. It's no big deal.
You can literally click the line, because if it doesn't recognize it.
Yep.
You're just gonna bring it in on standard.
Sure, I get that.
So
even for points
that's
and
just a
stuff.
standard. So this is it's a BOS. He called it. Oh, it's a bank top. No, bank bottom. That's what.
And that's just changing it to the point groups.
This is with line work too. This is changing the whole survey figures.
Right.
That's what they're called. So TOS instead of TOB. So bringing on standard. So we turn it to bank top.
So does that change? That doesn't change any of the code though. It just changes the line work.
Just changes the way it displays. That's what so you could display. That's why I was telling Robert. It doesn't matter if he gets his codes wrong, because it's that there. His codes are not fixed.
Yeah, that's
They're
easy.
displaying how they want them to be fixed.
That's easy.
He wanted to display those as bottoms and tops. There they are. Right. This one here. This is a DL. So I don't have a line type. I'm gonna make one.
What is a DL?
Drip line.
Oh, drip
So that's the drip line. This is the back of the bush here.
Yep.
So it's all bush, and then this is what did Robert put his as? Because it came in BU. So that came in as grit existing vegetation bush. Okay. So I should code it. If I just code it BU, that'll work then.
So that's just a line, right? And that's a drip line, right?
Yeah.
So So did you create all of that, or is that just an engineering style of a straight line for drip line? So that'll be labeled, obviously.
Yeah. So I'm not used to seeing.
So I'm used to seeing this, right? So whatever side that drip.
That's what I would do normally.
Okay.
These aren't going to be used for our surface, so.
Yep.
See, there's where I'm getting too many things on the go. Right. Normally, I'd be doing the boundary right now. We've jumped to processing this.
Do you want to do the boundary? Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Well, the boundary. I can leave for you to do. Like sure. That's so that I'm just trying to go step by step now. So boundary, next step is draw boundary.
Perfect.
Then take the boundary.
Then I'm gonna edit. Yeah.
And I would set my boundary, block it,
yep.
Move it onto this bar,
yep.
And then
we want
to rotate our data. So that's different,
easy.
Right? That's just you just go into database.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you have to rotate it through your database.
Yes, I remember this.
So we've got that block drawn. Actually, maybe we will draw that block. That'll be helpful.
Maybe we should.
Great line by bearing. So our bearing is 1 northeast. It's 18.0030, and it's 487 feet. You know, you can just type feet when you're doing these.
Yep.
It'll do the conversion for you.
It does?
Yeah.
Oh, that's new. That's not. They could.
So see, I just typed feet in there, and it drew it at 148.
Well, you just
438.
You drew. Oh, really? I just converted all.
Yeah, so you can save yourself one step.
That just saves me a step because I have my calculator that converts in it.
Yeah, I do too. But this will do it for you if you're in the create line by bearing command.
In the bearing command, you just type feet in.
So you go. So our next one from here, we're going southeast now. So second quadrant, it's 47.0230. The bearing. And then the distance given here is in feet, so it's 158.6, and you just put the foot,
And it'll convert it to metric.
enter, and it's gonna convert that to metric for you. So
Oh,
there's
come on.
48.34
Come on.
meters.
That I don't remember. Has that always been in CAD?
It's probably happened in a version between what you're using and what we're using now.
Yeah, because I didn't have that in 18.
It might not have been.
And
So it
before,
might be
and
new
in
to
13 it didn't
2022.
either.
13 it didn't for sure.
Yeah, 13 it
I
did.
think it
18.
did in 18. You probably just never used it.
I always converted it, right? I just on the fly because I was quick enough to do it.
Yeah.
Oh frick, that's
a big time saver. for
That's
these,
huge.
for sure.
That's huge.
Yeah.
So you just add feet and
You
then
put
it
the foot,
converts
like
it.
the foot at
You
the
just put
very end
F,
of it.
like you just put F and
No, the symbol for foot.
oh, the symbol. Okay.
Yeah. You just put that in right after, tell it it's in feet, hit enter, and it converts it to meters.
Oh, that's free. Okay. Jesus.
So yeah, that's
Okay,
handy.
that's something new. That's gonna save a ton of time.
It does honestly, because I
Oh, yeah.
am so used to
I'd copy this plan and convert everything ahead of time and then just type it in metric.
yeah. So that's basically doing it twice.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's perfect.
So and then if you want to have a couple checks after, you can check. But
Yeah.
it works.
Well, obviously it won't close if it's.
Yeah, exactly. You'll see some big error if
Yeah,
you did
exactly.
a conversion wrong, or if you forgot to hit the foot symbol once and it
Oh, yeah,
draws
see
feet
it.
into meters.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's my bearing here? 47.0100. 47.0100. My distance is 16.17 feet. And then I'm going 143.2630. And I'm going 131.03 feet. So it's not going until I hit enter. It's not going to show you those.
I found that out. That was totally different too.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like it
that's
either.
New to 2022, I think.
Yeah,
I
I don't
know if
like
there's
it
a way
either.
To change that.
Maybe I'll just Google it and I'll see if there's a
Yeah,
way you can
there-
take that, toggle
probably
it
a way you
off
can
or
change-
something.
I-
There's got to be a
it's gotta
toggle.
be.
Because I like seeing the actual line when you type
As
it in.
you draw.
Exactly.
I know.
I'll Google that.
I've just been dealing with it.
Yeah, so
But
bad.
it's a pain.
It is a pain.
101.77 feet. So that's where I am right now.
Because you can't see if you made one mistake.
I know, then you gotta go back.
Yeah, and then you got to.
I know, it's a pain.
Yeah.
So I've
No,
been dealing
I
with it.
get it.
I'm sure you can change it. There's
I'll
no way
find
there's
out.
not a way
I'll
to
Google
change
it
that.
and see. There's got to be toggle off.
118.3100.
I'm sure it's like a 0 or a 1. Just to take it
Exactly.
off.
There's something for sure.
Yeah.
Feet. There's that. And then we got one more here.
Everything you're doing is what I've used before so far. Like
this is all the common stuff.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
14.0950. What's my chord distance? 300.05.
But even the little things.
Oops, there.
Yeah,
Forgot
see,
to put
there's
feet.
right there.
I forgot to put feet.
Yeah.
300 meters.
Yep.
There you go. You'll see right away.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So do you use the survey commands at all in Civil 3D? Like have you used them before?
What do you mean?
Like there's a whole survey package in there. Like
This,
distance.
this
Yeah.
here?
Have you ever used any of that? I've never used it.
I did when I first started, but
Yeah.
then because I was always doing field and drafting,
Yes.
I just used the calculators, the handhelds.
Exactly.
I'm so used to using them.
Sure.
Almost all of my calculations are done in there in the
Right.
handheld before I come in. And then the only thing I have left to do here is like rotate the data or something
Gotcha.
onto it.
Reason why I asked is because, well, that's why we used the program that I got, because the guys wouldn't do that in the field. They just tied everything in. We had to do the calcs, right?
Right.
So that's why then we got playing around with this, and I didn't like it. But
Oh, well, you put a radius in the feet though. There you go.
doesn't let you
Radius,
do the
gotta
radius,
convert.
calculate it.
So, have you seen this?
No,
Can
what
I
is
show you
it?
that?
What's that?
Measure Master Pro.
Nope.
So 1973 feet meters.
One button.
One button.
So that's what I set up my
Yeah,
HP.
so you got yours to do that, right? So you
Yeah.
just-
So my HQ or whatever.
Yeah.
35. It converts it. We got a little program in there.
Yeah.
Calculates, adds angles. No
Yeah,
problem.
this thing will do
And that's
everything.
without- and that's an
Super
app?
handy, yeah.
It is. Oh shit.
Measure Master Pro.
Okay, now I've got it on tape anyway. I can download it.
Yeah, that's what I use. I just have
Okay.
it beside me just to quickly go on doing
Oh, yeah.
this. And it was 601.37. I don't like that. Start. And that was 601. 70. There you go.
There you go.
Well, I didn't like the first time. A bit of a closure there. Here's our boundary.
Yep.
Look at what's going on there. And then these lines, I usually just
Stand it out. Just make it look pretty, sort
Yeah.
of thing. Yep.
trim that one off. There's our adjacent
There's some
stuff.
different things there too with the trim and the extend. You don't even have to. I'm a picker, so you just pick the icon.
Oh yeah,
you just you're
it's
a
all
typer.
on, dude,
You're
I
a
type
command.
everything.
Yeah. See, I pick. That's why. So all with the extend and trim, you just pick the thing, and then it does. You don't have. You have to hit the cutting surface
Yeah.
first. There, you just have to hit the end that you cut.
Yeah, see,
It
I
knows
don't
it.
know what it is. I just always typed everything.
It's all good.
It's just a different way of doing it.
Yeah. Again, there's 15 different ways to.
It's CAD, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got something that looks
Something
nice.
like the. Yep. Perfect.
So I'll block that.
There's nothing you're doing. Yeah, that's not
But yeah, I would block that now.
Yep.
And I would, like, if this was a reference plan, I'd call it 22R.
perfect. Whatever it is.
But
Yep.
I'm just gonna call this AGM plan right now because I don't have the full version.
Sure.
And that'll be nice. So I'll take this now, move it onto whatever the field guys decided.
So obviously, in your case, I don't know if Robert's told you, like, you've done your calcs here. This is what I don't know if Robert will do that or not yet. I don't know.
Yeah, he said he's gonna try.
Okay.
Like he did that one.
Yep. Because Peter taught him a ton.
Yeah, so he said he's gone through. See, hold SIB.
Okay.
So he said he was gonna try and do
Yep.
that.
So
on
he's
these.
got hold there too. And then he's got a calc there a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's showing how. So he was gonna try that. He said, "Let
Good.
me try a couple."
Let's
and
see how it
works.
goes. And yeah, if it works.
So that's
Yeah.
that should be good. So yeah, you'll see that the bar is off.
I'm gonna get out of practice. I'm
The
not gonna have to do
corner.
any calculating. Just.
So to rotate all of our data now.
Yeah. So this is where.
Now, okay, our boundary's drawn.
Yep. So you right now you have.
So I've taken the block
Yep.
and I've set it onto this bar,
Yes.
that rear bar, and now that block is good. We want our data on that block.
So it's on those two bars that we're holding, right?
Yeah.
Like you've put those on that boundary on those two bars right now.
Right now, the boundary is set to that bar, right? But our data needs to be set to this boundary.
You've only picked one bar to put the corner on, so nothing's
Right.
been rotated
Nothing's
yet.
been rotated yet.
You just used one bar. Okay.
Yep.
All
So
right.
that block is sitting in there, and it's on that bar.
Okay.
So now we go into the survey tab under the survey database.
Yep.
If you open this drawing and it was closed, it
Okay.
won't let you make changes to it.
Okay.
So if you open the drawing, this is what it looks like.
Yep.
You gotta open for edit, and then it'll let you make changes to all the data.
Oh, the tree.
Yeah.
The tree falls.
So you right click, translate survey database, and this is, you're a picker, so you'll like this. So just base point, where you want to rotate it from, pick in drawing, so it's that point that we've got the block inserted onto. It's going to be the northern eastings at that location. Next step is our rotation angle. So either you calculate it by inversing the bars, or you can just pick in drawing. So the initial direction is, and this is where we're going to go from point to point. So the initial directions, the direction our points are currently. Okay, the new direction we want it to be is this reference bearing from AGM's plan.
So it goes the 2 points that you've got, and then where you want to.
Yep.
Okay.
So then it's gonna say, okay, if that's your initial and your new, we're rotating it by negative 21 minutes 54 seconds.
Okay.
Doesn't cut for you. Okay. destination point, I don't want to move it. If you want to translate it as well, like you could do a shift rotate all in one go here.
Okay.
But all we're really doing is just rotating the data. And then if you want to out an elevation change, you can do that this time too. In the last step, you can raise it or lower it if you did want
So,
to.
okay.
If we wanted to tie it exactly to that 0.17 minus 0.017.
Because we were higher. We were higher. Okay.
By
Holy shit.
0.17.
Yep.
So we want to drop all of our measured data by 0.17 to match exactly into that cosine across the road.
And this is in the last step, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So it's going to give you your final destination point.
Okay.
Well, I'm not moving it. I'm just rotating it,
Okay.
and also drop everything by 0.7. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave our data how it
No,
is.
that's. I'm
But
glad
if
you
we
showed me
If we
that.
wanted to, that's
Yep.
what that is.
No, I'm glad you showed me that.
So next, so then it's going to give you a summary of what it's doing. So in this case, translation is not moving the data, it's just rotating it. If you were moving everything too, it would show you the new location. So it's going to take a minute to chug. The line work you'll see move right away probably.
I've never used that before. See, all we would do if we were doing a translation, we would put a line to the bar that you had the elevation on, or whatever it was, and then you'd put the elevation of the new point on the end of the line, and we'd move it to the end of the line, and then verified by the other benchmarks, right, to make sure it matched. That's
Yeah, so this is why we use databases. That's why Acad uses that now. This is quick. If you go to this practice, this is how they'll teach you to do
you're using it again.
Yeah, everything. You have to make. You can't pull one point or just rotate like everything.
That was the problem we
Yeah.
had. You wouldn't have one. Yeah.
Exactly. So it does the same thing to every point you draw and all the line work. So, and then the reason we do this rotation first is because if you go and process all your line work, when you do that rotation, it's going to put back in the it'll reprocess all of those jigs and jogs. So don't go cleaning up all his line work before you've rotated your data.
I understand.
Once it's rotated, then you can make changes to everything.
And you would see that. Yeah. Okay.
But now you'll see, there's our data. It's bang on the bars. So everything's rotated. So at this point, I'd usually explode this again.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And then we're gonna put it on.
as a check, what I like to do is just create line by point range. 64 to 73 are my 2 points that I wanted to. 64 to 73. Enter. There's my blue line. Right, this has to fix it up there. We need it in surveyor's units for us.
Oh, so you have to switch that every time though, too.
I'm
right?
gonna switch it and just save the template, not tell them because they won't notice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So
But right now, I'd have to do that. Put that in the units.
yeah, you'd have to units switch it to surveyor's
okay.
units, but I'll do that right as soon as we're done this.
Sure.
And it's done. So okay, I just drew a line directly from 64 to 63. It is 180030, which is the reference bearing we were trying to rotate on.
Good.
So good, everything's rotated.
Okay.
So now
That's
we're,
straightforward. Like
Yeah.
I get it.
now we're on. Now
You're doing it in one step.
yeah, file. Save as. Now usually once my data is rotated and my boundaries on it, this is where I do my first save.
Sure. No, that makes
This
sense.
far. Save as. You can set up like auto save, so it just saves every 15 minutes.
I hit save anyway. I'm so used to
You're
it.
good, yeah.
I-
I'm bad for that.
Well, I've done so many grading plans. You know how fast you can do a grading plan.
Yeah.
You can have like 30 things done in like 2 minutes.
So
I've just got to just hit and save every couple minutes.
IP for in progress. Okay, so that's done and ready to go. Our boundaries on there. The topos there.
Now, do you change that to boundary layer? Do you put that on the boundary layer?
Yeah, sorry, I
Okay,
just did
yeah,
this
that's
on
fine.
layer 0, but
Yeah, that's fine.
So
I can do
that's
that. I can
similar.
do it.
let's go on to our survey
Yeah.
property line. There.
I could have did. Yeah.
Didn't click the arc because I selected similar. So see, like I changed that line there to match that one before, and we changed Robert's lines.
Right.
Now they're back to standard.
Right.
That's because we changed them before we did that rotation. Once you
right, now
rotate,
it's
it's
gone
going to
back.
reprocess all the line work. So it goes back. That's why I'm saying don't bother with any of that until you've done the
rotation.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's always bring the data in, draw your boundary off to the side, rotate your data, then
Then
you're
you're
off to the races.
Okay.
So, okay, now you're asking, like, you're used to seeing those clouds and stuff for drip lines. And
No
so
drip lines, so
Yep,
it's the bush
so
line stuff.
anything that's a line that we generate as a line that is not going to be used as part of the surface, we can explode. Just turn them back into polylines.
Okay, yep.
So buildings, we won't use buildings as part of the surface. Drip lines, we won't use as part of the surface.
So is that when you go around the surface around a building, you would just do
a hide boundary.
a hide?
I just use the building face itself.
Yes.
On a 2D polyline.
Okay.
And just say use this as a hide, and it just basically creates a hole in your surface.
Right. In the building area.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got drip lines and buildings. I think everything else is all asphalt, road stuff. It will be part of our surface. So, okay. So select a building, select a drip line, right click, select similar. Grab anything that's on those either building or drip line layers. Now in this case, it's selecting these guys because Robert had them.
You're obviously coded
wrong, but we will want them as part of the surface. So okay, explode, and then one more click on that and that. Select similar. I use convert 3D polys just to make them 2D polylines. You can just explode them all again too, which will just make them lines.
Sure.
Either or, it's again Acad.
Sure.
So that's my preference. What is this line? I wonder. What that one is. So if I want to see it, I'll just throw this guy up at the top just for 1 second to see what his codes are on that line. OH. Oh, okay.
Overhead wire.
Overhead. So yeah, again, OH, we call it OW.
Yep.
So that's fine.
See, I'll know those codes from, obviously from, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's simple enough to just switch it to survey, whatever layer it's supposed to be on.
Sure. So should I sort of make a list if that's the case?
Yeah, I think as we start going now, let's start
Yeah,
making a list to say,
sure.
hey, these codes are, because I can, like, and I said this to Robert, if OH is something you're stuck on, like, you can call an overhead wire an OH or an OW.
Okay.
As long as we tell CAD to bring it in, like if you see an OW or an OH, bring it in the same way.
Exactly.
If you see a TOS or a TOB, bring it in the same way.
Exactly.
Like,
okay.
So that it's not such
Sure.
a big deal.
Well, you get in your habits, right?
I know, that's right. So,
yeah.
anyways, that's going to be an overhead wire, so that's what that is.
Mm.
So it won't be part of the surface anyways, so that's
Nope.
fine. Okay, so let's turn all those back on. So now I'm cleaning up my
Your line
work. So under, when you click a survey figure, you can go edit geometry.
Okay.
This will have to teach him. So here, let's just delete GI, delete the ones that were on the wrong side of the street, and we'll start bringing it back to the right side of the street.
Really?
Oh, I don't know what's going on though.
That's wonky.
Is
What's going on there?
This to this to this to this.
So that's where I'd look at the coding, obviously, right, or something, or
Yeah, and if there's a bunch of wonky stuff, I might just start exploding these.
sure, and then just change.
We don't need like.
I don't
There's
know.
so much stuff crisscrossing here.
I know there is.
Yeah. So centerline road worked fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just at this point with all the reworking here. That's asphalt. Okay, so yeah, there's the asphalt there. So you'll see this big. There's that big chunk of encroachment.
Jeez.
So this is gravel here, and this is asphalt.
Oops.
And that they parked their truck right here on their fence. That is the end of their fence, but you'll see all of that is.
So there you go. So who notifies them that, or how does that work? Like, what do you do?
It'd be showing on our plan now, right?
Yeah.
And it's just an illustration. And if they say, "Hey, you guys are out to lunch," we know we're good.
Sure.
We'll say if you guys want to deal with this, Doug Culbert's in town.
Gotcha.
You can put a legal plan on it and have the lawyers deal with this.
Then here we go.
This is just an illustration based on our measurements. This is where it is.
Yep.
I'm happy to contact Doug for you.
But we can't because obviously it's a boundary.
We're not commenting on it. Our boundary. So
that's our boundary.
So if they asked, right? Our boundary was derived from this plan from AGM.
Yep. Okay. See, that's where I get locked in. I'm like, oh, frick.
Yeah, so we're not doing that. And I've had these consultations with Peter quite a bit. Like,
I'm sure.
if we're not doing anything wrong, he's very much agreeing with
Good.
that, basically, as long as we do it properly.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
how you guys are showing us massive encroachment. That's
Yes.
based on the plan from AGM
Mhm.
and our site measurements. That's
Yep.
where the boundary is. If you want a boundary survey because you've got an issue, we can contact Doug Culver for you and have him schedule that in. And what would really happen is I'd pick up the phone and say, Doug,
This is
I'm
what's
sending
going
you,
on.
I'm sending you a topo here. This is around the corner from you in Goddard. You know, it's a client of ours putting an addition on. We're doing topo, but they realize they have this massive encroachment. They want to put a legal plan on. Do you have time to do it? No, I don't have any time. If I go out and do the field work for it, send you a
But
plan,
we've
can
already
you
done the
review?
field work,
Right.
obviously.
So okay, let's turn this into a reference plan on Culbert's
Behalf.
We'll take his template and turn it into
But that's where that
reference
great
plan.
communication comes in because we've already done it.
right.
Really,
It's not done.
we're
The
already
work's
there.
done. Or I can say, you know, do you want me to send you my field notes and you guys just draft a reference plan while we're working on top of our client, and so something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. If it comes
Gotcha.
to that, that's how we'll deal with it.
But yeah, as you said, illustration. This is where actually when the other person looks at it and goes, "Oh, okay,
Exactly.
there's a problem here." But
Yeah.
yeah,
But
okay.
we're hired to do a topo.
Yep.
We're doing a topo.
This is what we've got.
Here's what you got. So if you've got other issues now that you didn't know about, and I mean they should have known about it. I don't know who put this plan on, but like there's that same fence.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's
way
in
back,
the same.
way back then.
Yep.
Fence was still there, and they knew about these hydro. That's why this plan went on after.
It's like they just never did anything.
So it looks like it's just never been dealt with.
Yeah.
So and maybe they just don't care. Like they don't use that stuff back there anyway. Maybe they don't care if you know.
They may not care, but the next person comes along
Yeah,
could have an issue.
Exactly. You know, I want to put a building down, put a shed back there.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, anyway,
Okay.
that's how we deal with that.
Okay.
So we're cleaning up the line work right now.
See, this is where already the properties box is open all the time. I didn't use half what you were using it
Oh
for
yeah, it's
now.
always open. I
Yeah.
have to like
I understand.
This is how
yeah,
I'm
I
changing
control-
everything.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
Yeah, exactly.
it's just a matter of cleaning it up.
Yep.
And I'm still, you'll see, learning the layers that they've created for me. It's like a lot more layers than I'm used to using.
See, that's new too. All your layers are changing live. Like you can see them, but they've been
Oh,
on the
yeah.
screen. That 18 wasn't like that.
Utility, now we got it close. Or hydro overhead, there we go. Okay, so there are the hydro wires. And you just don't see the poles that they're attached to because our group's not displaying right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that we can get rid of now, we don't need that. So if we were to start labeling this, the bearings and distances will now match exactly to this plan. And that's what we're trying
achieving.
to accomplish.
Yeah.
We're putting this boundary onto it. It's an illustration, somebody else has done the plan.
Mhm.
And there's gonna be times where like, if there's an issue, like something we can't figure out, we may have to call someone, like
Sure.
call a surveyor and say, hey, there's something wonky going on here, or do you have a plan that we don't have, or
Sure.
that. But then in most cases we're finding out like everything matches fine, there's no issues here.
Exactly.
But like this one, and then, so some of the times like there may be one where Robert goes out with a deed and RP,
That's all he's got.
and that's
yeah.
all he's got, and we
Yeah, that's where we're obviously digging up numbers that we have to
Yeah,
do some phone
like
calls.
today in Kitchener, all he's got is he's got one reference plan across the street, and then an RP and the deed. And so if we have, as long as he finds the bars, we'll just draw by deed.
Right.
We'll just draw by deed. We're not
Okay.
doing layout as part of this. It's to get.
So you don't want to do any phone calls at all, even if he's got numbers, even if we can get a
Yeah,
plan.
if we can get a number, we might.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But we're not putting on a boundary.
No, exactly. No, I get it.
The deliverable for us, for the client, is that they get their grading plan for permits.
Right.
So they don't need a boundary as part of that.
Sure.
Um,
But then that's
yeah,
yeah.
if we start to start doing layout and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and we need to know our boundary a little bit better,
Then we do the due
we'll cross
diligence
that bridge
of-
and do the due diligence and make sure they have it.
Okay.
But in most of these,
Sure.
it's been okay.
Okay.
Okay, so there's that. So yeah, we're cleaning up the roads. So the nice thing with point groups here is what I would do, because that one was such a mess,
Yes.
is I bring the all points, just make sure I know which codes he's using for his road. So he's coded his roads as CU,
So that's your curb.
ASP,
That's your asphalt. Yeah.
CU, ASP. So everything's CU and ASP. Okay, so that's too cluttered to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So let's create a new point group in this drawing to help us draw this thing quickly. Curb shots, whatever we want to call it.
Sure.
And let's give it the style, basic. Point number, elevation, description, sure. Include draw descriptions matching CU asterisk. So that's gonna, asterisk just means anything following CU is also gonna be included. So apply, points list.
Oh, cool.
So here's all the points it picks up. So
Oh,
say,
it's picked. Oh, it's picked
so
it up
that-
already.
so
Okay.
you say, once you say apply,
Yep.
it's gonna add.
Oh, it's already
so-
picked it up.
So you go to the tab point list.
Yep.
Cause say he shot something like cut. I don't wanna include cut in this point group.
Okay.
Cause those are my curb cuts, right?
Yes.
I just wanna draw them right now, so we'll say, 1019, 1281, 1289, 1291. You need to do, you like, it's probably easier for you, you like pick stuff, so. If you go to, so we wanna exclude some points that we've got included here, selection set and drawing. Just go through here.
But you could remember them, write them down too,
Cut,
right? And
yeah, cut.
That's crazy. I never knew this.
Cut.
Cut.
One.
Should be it. Uh-oh.
One over there. So exclude those ones, apply. Points. So now I should see no cuts in line. Oh, we missed one. 1036.
So you could technically
Yeah, you can
just add the number.
1036.
So it's always comma, space, then number. Okay.
Okay, so now what do we got? Raw description, CU, everything's only CU. Oh, and one more, 1334. 1342. Okay,
I
last time there. All we've got is curb shots now. Perfect.
I'm seeing how far we were behind over there.
So now we got two options. Oh, my sidewalks are backwards too. We'll fix that. Two options. So yeah, him cleaning all this up will save you a ton of time.
Huge.
And he'll make less and less mistakes.
Sure.
as he goes too,
Oh yeah.
but-
Sure.
So we can, if we are doing like a really detailed survey and we want to have this break line, 'cause we deleted it, right? We deleted the survey figures.
Correct.
Now if we draw just a polyline that's not gonna have 2D,
Right.
we can do that and we could just add this point group that we've created into the surface so that it does include those points in the surface, just not as a break line.
Okay.
Or if we wanted to, so we have two options, just draw the polyline to get it in there,
Mhm.
which is fine. For what we're doing for this surface, it won't matter. But if we did need to, I just want to show you that it's there.
Yes.
Survey figures, create figure interactively. So that's under the survey tab, figures, create figure interactively. So our figure is going to be CU. I usually just match whatever's like, it was ASP1, it'd be ASP1, that's what I call it, so to remake his line work basically. So you just click it, and then it's just gonna be, okay, he wants to start it here, 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 here. Enter. Now this is asking if the properties that go in the direction you want to go, so you can flip directions. So that's all these kinds that you've never seen before.
Yep.
So here, if we say, no, oh, now it's going to draw it the other direction. See how it's changing direction?
Yeah,
now?
it is. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, apply. Now we've got a curve in there in 3D.
That's cool.
So that's drawn exactly how he intended it to.
Yeah.
We've just fixed it now.
Right.
So now,
That is freaking cool.
yeah, create figure interactively. and it's all clicking, so you like this.
Yeah.
See you
No
too.
shit. His next line on the other side.
Yeah. So, and normally, like, see, I'm so used to doing this, right? Like, I don't have, my line work comes in almost exactly perfect, because it's all my system.
Oh yeah,
so-
exactly. I was the same way when I was in the field, Simon.
Yeah,
Like
if
I
we were
would be,
processing this on mine,
Yeah.
we'd be just about done.
well, exactly. See, I was when I worked in the field. I just worked from one end to the other and just had all lines. Like that was
Yeah.
the line number that I tried never go back twice.
Yeah.
Just always walk through.
Yeah, so. What's that one?
I think you missed it.
That's a
there.
cut
Oh, it's a
there.
cut. Yeah. Okay.
I just skipped it.
Yep.
There's our next curve. Okay, now we made those with point groups. That's the beauty of it, to make it life easier on ourselves, so we don't have to see everything else. So let's go get those back down. We don't want to see them anymore. Now let's do the edge of asphalt that we tied in. So let's do the exact same thing for asphalt. So two shots. Sure. Same thing. Include cross stretches. Yes. Okay, apply. Let's see what that's going to pick up. By raw description. Nothing but ASP, so that one's easy done. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing. Survey. Create a figure interactively. ASP1. Well, that's probably why.
Oh, it's going
Take a
straight
shot
through.
there,
No,
so
he
it's
missed it.
crossing.
He missed it, so it went to the last one.
Yeah, I probably won't want to draw this if I do this, but let's just see. See, I think it will tell me it's, see, because it's going to cross there. So
Yep.
that's okay.
That's why it went around.
That's why there's a bunch of weird stuff going on. So
Yep.
we can, though, let's just insert a PI. Because he forgot one. So there's lots of things. To make sure we get this right, what do we want? 6 inches below the curb,
Roughly
right?
Yeah.
So let's,
150 mil.
right. So let's turn that curb shot back on for 1 second. So that was 232.72. So if we make this 60, I mean 60 is be close at least. So I click this guy here, insert a point of intersection. So go off this curb. I'm gonna put it at 232. 50.
57.
Yeah.
Even 60 would have worked too. But
Yeah. So there. Now we've still got it in 3D. It's fixed.
That's cool. Okay.
We can turn those curb shots back off. Keep working on our gutters.
Yep.
But this is the power of point groups.
Oh, it's huge.
Like
I'm seeing the benefit of it.
this is. So
It's crazy.
let's do the other side. Let's see. Or see, the other thing you can do is you could draw a polyline, and there's another option to
Create the polyline to 3D.
yeah to fix it.
Yep.
I'd rather just draw it once, but I don't know.
I'm the
if
same
there's-
way. No,
I
no,
don't know
no,
if there's a
no.
benefit to doing it that way. I just want
No,
to let you know that that's there too. So.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a step that I rarely actually do when I'm processing. Because usually I don't have much to clean up. And then sometimes there's like, if you only made like 1 or 2 errors, you don't have to do it. Like I wouldn't delete them all, I would just fix them. Those options are all in there.
Sure. Yeah, so you missed it.
Missed it all in here.
Mm-hmm.
So let's insert on here. 232, 21. Just slightly below what's on there. So there's our roads are all fixed now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's this one? CSW. So here, okay,
Yeah, concrete sidewalk.
yeah. So those down. Okay. CSW1. So it looks like there's only the one screw up on that one. So under when you click the line here, it's going to give you all the options for editing.
Mm-hmm.
So if I just delete that one. Undo. I don't think that was what I want. Yeah, so if it was just one, it was come backwards.
He's got a couple. Oh,
He's got backwards.
he got his numbers. Okay.
It's okay. That's fine. So we'll do the exact same.
Nope, we
thing.
just get to see it
Yeah.
again. Nope, this is good.
Endpoint group. We're gonna call this concrete sidewalk shots.
So could you, in that case, could you maybe explode those lines, change?
Oh
the
yeah, you
direction,
could. So
and then
create from object.
Create the object.
That's instead of creating a reactive page.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
that's the time to do that.
That's what I would do. Just if it was one little location, just explode it.
Yep.
Draw the lines the way they would be, and then make it a 3D polyline
Let's
again.
actually
Like,
just try that. I'll go
does
back.
that make the
So I'll take these two,
explode them? Yeah.
explode them. Now when you explode them, they'll be 3D polylines.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't even know if that matters. Let's just try this.
Sure.
So let's throw this one over here. This one over here. And then I need to know where those points were.
Yeah.
So turn those back on so you can see them.
Yep.
This one needs to go over here. This one needs to go over here. There. Now our side looks. So yeah, there's tons of different ways to do this. Right?
Sure.
Then if I go into survey, figures, create from object. Select the object, that one. Name, figure, create, okay. This one. Oh, okay.
What happened?
So that created one on top of it, didn't turn it into one.
So if you exploded it one more time, though, so you probably was in a 3D polyline still, right?
That one
Or
created. So
three-
that one created one called figure.
Okay.
Then we wanted it to be CSW.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try that one more time. Okay, see what it's doing now. So we have 3D polylines.
Yes.
These are 3D polylines. These are the
Okay.
sidewalks that we did. We want them to be figures. So create figure from object. And the name is going to be CSW according to our figure prefix database.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one is going to be CSW1, which is coded as okay. Enter. Now it did work. There we have one. But it's putting them on top. So those lines still exist underneath.
So what ends if you
But it does
exploded
have-
it? What
that
ends if you exploded it twice
Let me try that.
and went to 2D? Can you and then go back?
Yeah, let's see. I still think it's gonna leave a line underneath it.
It would. Okay.
I don't know. Let's see. So we're back to 3D polylines.
Yep.
In there. So let's explode it again.
It should be
Now, well, that's just a bunch of lines.
right. Okay. So that's different again.
Yeah. So
So just
that.
join from point to point.
Well, that's a 3D. Go back to 3D polylines. Looks like convert them to 2D polylines. Then we should just have one line.
Oh, there you
So
go.
now we have 2D. So if you use the convert to 2D polyline,
Yep.
it keeps them as one whole polyline. If
Just-
you
but
explode
you
it
still-
twice, it puts the
It's
segment
into
into
segment.
lines.
Okay. Yeah.
Create object.
So you know what I mean there at the beginning, if you where it was crisscrossed, if you put it into a 2D, then you'd see the points, and it's just a matter of taking those out and redrawing the lines through.
So either way it works. That we've got
Sure.
them now.
Okay, well, so that's good. I just learned.
And when you click your line to shift, you should see like a minimum elevation and
Yep.
maximum elevation, so you know there's different elevations on it.
Sure. So now there's just one line there. It didn't put a second line on top, right?
I don't know. That's a good question. No, there is two. So
There
every
is
time
two.
you do it by object, it's going to create.
It's going to create two. Okay.
So probably not a big deal if there's two. You should have known there's two.
Sure. And that won't affect
Won't affect
it won't
anything.
affect the surface.
No.
Okay.
Because we'll just use that as the
Sure.
line. So. Okay, and now these are how I've been doing these. And you may have a different way of doing this. So these
Sure.
are the blank lines, right?
Yep.
So those are survey figures right now. So one, One's already exploded, this one's not, so let's explode it. Polyline, 3 polys, okay. Match properties, that's the layer that I want that on. Okay, I've just been using the RevCloud command.
The what?
RevCloud, like review
Yep.
cloud?
Never used that before.
RevCloud,
What is that?
arc. So then it's gonna say, okay, what do you wanna do? I wanna choose the arc length. Arc length of 2, and pick an object. Yes, reverse direction, yes.
Never used that. That's handy. Holy shit.
So, arc length 2, object. This guy, no. There's my bush line now. That's how I've been doing them. That's how I always do them. I find it really quick to turn lines into
That's really
clouds. Because you can, so when you.
So is that a standard, like,
That's a standard command.
Command?
RevCloud.
I've never heard of that.
It's for review clouds, but they
Perfect.
work for making your bush line. You just go.
Yeah. No, that's
so
awesome.
Like if you want, I want to make those really big for some reason, like because you can.
Yeah, make it bolder or
So,
whatever, or longer.
There,
Or,
I chose my arc length as 10.
yep. That's so simple.
Yeah. Reverse
Okay.
direction. No, I want bush going that way. RevCloud.
Who says that?
First is A for arc length. I'm going to turn my arc length to 5, and then object. This. Yes. So
Sweet.
just different ways to display it, but it's really quick.
That's easy.
RevCloud arc length 2. I like the way 2 looks. So there's our drip line in there.
Perfect.
Yeah, I just changed over. I don't know why it changed. Oh, it changes it to a current layer. That's why I did that.
Gotcha.
Right. Vegetation drip. There's our bush line. Okay, so I think our line works all clean now. I don't see anything out of place now.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yep.
So boundaries on there, line works on there. Before I start turning point groups on, now I usually annotate my boundary.
Okay.
Add labels, line and curve labels. So Dan has created, and you can use these if you want to use them, or not if you like. If you'd rather just label by standard.
I've been using. Well, I just.
He created them for basically everything, right?
Okay.
Like back of curve. So then you can just go and label all your back of curve in the drawing.
Oh, I've never used. No, I haven't used
Existing
that.
back of curve. See. Existing back of
Oh,
curve.
frick! I never used that.
So
I didn't.
you can just
okay.
do all your curves at one time. And then,
Or you can label something quickly manually, like type it in. And
yeah, you can just type it in too, right?
I didn't even know
He
yeah,
made all
did.
these for quickly labeling them.
Perfect. No, that's good.
Um,
And you can enable it all
they're-
different
they're for
places and stuff.
everything.
Okay.
Existing. Did he make one for? He's got basically everything. If you look at it. Yeah,
And it puts it on the right layer, like and everything.
Yeah, so
like-
that comes in on the layer. Back of curve.
Okay.
Edge of asphalt down on the other side.
So will it come on the side that you want it to, or do you have to flip it?
No, you gotta flip it.
Okay.
I think it always defaults to the same side.
Yeah, it always goes the same side. Okay.
So there, back of curve, edge of asphalt, back curve, edge of asphalt.
Perfect.
Label that. Here's edge of.
I know
This
I'll
is
use.
edge of asphalt. This is edge of gravel here.
So I just started typing it manually, but this is faster when it's already in
Yeah.
there.
So if you
To
know
me-
you got a bunch of gravel, just go
Yeah,
click all your gravel. Here's gravel over here. You know.
I'm a picker, so
There.